Sirens screamed down the quiet street like a bad dream I couldn't wake up from. My heart slammed against my ribs so hard I could hear it over the screech of tires. "You've got to be kidding me," I breathed out, gripping the arms of my wheelchair until my knuckles turned white. Betty, our HOA president, the self-appointed queen of the cul-de-sac, had just called 911 on me. All because I parked my van in the visitor's spot with my legal disability placard hanging right there on the dashboard where anyone with eyes could see it. The smell of fresh-cut grass and her cheap floral perfume hit me at the same time as she stormed across the lawn, heels clicking like gunshots. "This is an emergency," she yelled into the phone, her voice cracking with fake panic. "There's a man here illegally parked claiming he's disabled and it's blocking the whole neighborhood." I stared at her, my breath coming short and sharp. Was she serious right now? I had just come back from physical therapy, my legs aching from the long day, and all I wanted was to get inside my own townhouse. The placard was real. The doctor's paperwork was real. The law was real, but Betty didn't care. She never did. Sarah, my wife, burst out the front door, phone already recording. "Betty, what the hell are you doing?" she shouted, her voice shaking with rage and disbelief. I could see the red flush creeping up her neck the way it always did when she got protective. God, I loved her for that. Betty spun around, jabbing a finger at me like I was some criminal. "This is my community, Mark. We have rules. You can't just slap a fake tag on your car and think you own the parking spots." Her eyes were wild, spit flying with every word. The neighbors were starting to peek out windows, doors cracking open. I could feel their eyes on us, the tension thick enough to choke on. I forced my voice steady even though my hands were trembling. "Betty, this placard is permanent. The law protects it. You know that. You approved the rules yourself last year." My words came out calm, but inside I was boiling. How many times had she nitpicked my ramp, my van, my everything? This wasn't about parking. This was about power. She laughed, a sharp, bitter sound that cut through the warm afternoon air. "Please. I know a scam when I see one. The police will sort this out." She turned back to the phone, giving them my address again, like it was a crime scene. The sirens grew louder, then the patrol car swung into the cul-de-sac, lights flashing. Officer Daniels stepped out, tall and tired-looking, already sighing like he'd seen this movie before. The scent of hot asphalt and exhaust mixed with the distant barbecue smoke from someone's backyard. My stomach twisted. What if he believed her? What if this turned into a whole thing? "Ma'am, what's the emergency?" Daniels asked, his tone flat as he walked up. Betty launched into her rant, arms waving like she was directing traffic. "This man is using a fake disability tag. He's not even supposed to park here. It ruins the look of the neighborhood, and I demand you tow the vehicle right now." Sarah stepped closer to me, her hand on my shoulder, warm and steady. I could feel her heartbeat through her fingers, fast and furious. "Officer, here's the paperwork, the DMV card, everything. It's all legal. She's done this before to other neighbors too." I handed him the folder, my fingers brushing the cool plastic of the placard. The sun beat down on my shoulders, making sweat trickle down my back. Daniels flipped through the pages, his expression shifting from bored to annoyed in seconds. "Ma'am, this is a valid permanent disability parking permit issued by the state," he said slowly, like he was explaining to a child. "ADA federal law covers this. There's no violation here." Betty's face went from red to purple. But the HOA rules. We have standards. He can't just." "Ma'am, filing a false police report is a crime." Daniels cut her off, his voice hardening. "You called 911 claiming an emergency over legal parking. That's not how this works." The words hung in the air heavy. I let out a long, shaky breath, the kind that comes after you've been holding it for too long. Sarah squeezed my shoulder tighter. For a second nobody moved. Then Betty started sputtering excuses, her voice rising higher and higher until it cracked. "You're all in on this," she shrieked, pointing at all of us now. "This is harassment. I'll have the whole board vote you out, Mark, just watch." Officer Daniels shook his head, pulled out his notebook, and started writing. "I'm issuing you a citation for misuse of emergency services, ma'am. And I suggest you leave these folks alone before this gets worse." The neighbors were fully outside now, whispering, pointing phones up. Betty stood there frozen, her perfect HOA president mask cracking right in front of everyone. The wooden signpost behind her, the one with the neighborhood rules, suddenly looked like it was mocking her. I almost felt bad. Almost. But then the twist hit like a freight train. One of the neighbors stepped forward, old Mr. Ramirez, who never said much. "Officer, she's been doing this for months. My wife's got cancer and Betty called code enforcement on our ramp last week. Same story. Fake violations. She just hates anyone who doesn't fit her picture-perfect block." Daniels nodded like he'd heard enough. Body cam still rolling. Betty's eyes darted around, realizing the whole street had turned. Her mouth opened but no sound came out this time. Just a weak little gasp. Crashing down harder than those sirens ever did. The HOA board held an emergency meeting. Footage from Sarah's phone and the officer's body cam went around the group chat. Betty was voted out as president in one unanimous vote. Turns out her own backyard fence had been built 6 inches over the property line for years, illegal as hell. Fines piled up. Neighbors stopped inviting her to block parties. Last I heard, she put her house up for sale and moved out in the middle of the night like she couldn't stand the stairs anymore. I sat on my porch, that final evening, wheels parked right where they belonged, the placard still hanging proud. The air smelled like freedom and barbecue again. Sarah leaned down and kissed the top of my head. "You did good, babe," she whispered. I smiled, slow and deep, the kind of smile that comes after you've fought the fight and won. "We did good, all of us. Here's the truth, folks, no matter how loud the Karens get, no matter how many times they try to call the law on you for simply existing in your own body, the law is on your side when you're right. Stand tall or sit tall, whatever your chair looks like. Don't let the bullies win. Justice isn't always fast, but it always shows up with sirens if it has to. And when it does, the right side wins every single time." What would you have done if your own neighbor called 911 just for using your legal rights? Drop it in the comments. Out there. The neighborhood belongs to all of us, not just the ones who scream the loudest.